One of the hardest parts of being an evaluator is knowing when to let go. Today is the day that I let go. It's our new in-season flagship show, Rough Draft. And one day soon, you might be watching this thing on Netflix. Who knows? Just 189 days until the NFL draft. Mensch, you good?
Great. I love that opening.
Hey, Tucker. One time now, kid. A year ago, man, I would never have guessed that you were about to be a Netflix star.
No one
Hollywood
had
on me. No, it's exciting news. Exciting news. Ringer, Spotify partnering with Netflix. I think everyone's seen it now on social media, all over the internet. It's a big deal. We're excited for it. More details will come. This episode is presented by Duluth Trading Company. Ready to give rival tailgates the foam finger? Duluth Trading Company crafts Hall of Fame game day gear to help you grill hotter, cheer louder, and tailgate longer. Bibs loaded with pockets, gusseted pants so you can crouch without snuffing out your coals, and free swinging shirts tailor-made for cornhole tossing. Stay comfortable from preseason to playoffs in the toughest tailgate attire around, only at Duluth Trading Company. Listen, Haas, Evan Hawley, Cole Marie, always trade back. My first question, when Jeff Chow called me to talk, and we got done with our conversation, I sat down for a second. Marissa's like, well, what about the chat? I was like, oh, shoot. What about the chat? What about our live show, our Saturday night reaction show? Become our favorite thing that we do. Our flagship show is Rough Draft, and you're here with us today, and we appreciate you being here. Our probably most fun interactive show of the week is the Saturday night reaction show. And we've got a great group. The chat keeps growing. The audience keeps growing. We literally just had our best and biggest audience for our live show on a Saturday night that we've ever had. And we're coming up on 1 year, October 22nd, Mensch. It'll be our 1 year anniversary. So it's all happening and we're excited for whatever comes with Netflix. But I did put in the question, like, we can bring the chat over. They said they're already working on it. So I'm not going unless we're bringing the chat with us in some way, shape, or form, because we appreciate everyone who's become loyal members and part of this show that we're building. Next, I want to get to Saturday night. Speaking of which, right?
Some big games, man.
Man, talk about, like, they're not like the primary rivalry necessarily, but two like historic rivalries in college football. The primetime games, 7:30 Eastern time. We're going to break into the end of these games. You've got USC, Notre Dame. Think about the history, the battles, right?
Can't wait.
Whew,
Cannot wait.
Then, well, not then. At the same time, simultaneously, we get the multi-screen going here as we're watching and screaming and reacting just as you are at home. It's Alabama, Tennessee. Tennessee at Alabama this year. I remember the first time I went down with Mike Gottfried, Ron Franklin, right? And I remember like sitting at a Waffle House, and Mike Gottfried explaining to me, because I'm this Northeastern kid at the time. I'm fresh out of college. I went to school at Richmond in Virginia, capital of the South, so they proclaim. But I didn't have, and I grew up a Michigan, Ohio State guy because of my grandfather, and so I didn't have the total understanding of some of the Southern traditions and the history and the rivalries. And I knew, obviously, the Iron Bowl in Alabama, Auburn. But when it was explained to me, I was like, oh, this thing's special. It's the third week in October. You better bring your cigars and get ready to light them, right? So it's just going to be a special night on Saturday. So we encourage everyone, if you haven't joined, not only come hang with us through the end of those games, and then we wind up doing like a 2-hour reaction show when the games are over, but get on the chat too. It's a fun group, and we're excited for that. And then finally, as we transition to today, this is our second edition. We're calling it 1.1, Rough Draft 1.1. We're fired up. Mensch came up with the name. Dan Comer, our do everything guy behind the scenes, came up with the concept. Like, we gotta keep the NFL draft involved all year long. There are other draft shows that are going all year long. That's kind of how we started this whole thing, but we got to keep the focus on college football as well. So we found our balancing act, and Rough Draft on Thursdays every week during the college football season is our new kind of home and our flagship show. So here we are in that. But accompanying that is the McShay Report. Please, if you're not subscribed to it, like, this is a good time to do it. This is the first
big one
for me. Today is the kickoff to our NFL draft coverage as we incorporate it in season college football. And it's the quarterback rankings. We did a preseason. We watched all the tape, went to the Manning Academy, all those things. But we didn't know what we don't know. And now we know a lot more. I mean, my gosh. I can't remember a year, man. I can't remember a year. We've had Jaden Daniels go from day 3 to pick number 2 overall. We just had Cam Ward go from, a 5th round grade by a lot of NFL scouts to the number 1 overall pick. Like, that happens. But to see this much turnover and so many names that are on this list that weren't in our summer list, and see some of those names that were atop the summer list falling all the way down in the rankings, like, it's been a wild couple months of college football, and it's changed the draft landscape drastically. So we're going to, like, in 30 seconds now, we're going to jump into my top 10 quarterbacks for the 2026 NFL draft. And I promise you this, there's a standard here. Like, the way I show my appreciation to our audience that continues to grow is I pour it all in. And I know Steve does the same. I can attest to that. Like, I grinded. Marissa's mad at me. The kids are like, what's your deal? I'm not putting out
Dad?
This, but there was a lot to go through because there's a lot of new names. So, like, I'm giving you everything I got. And hopefully it's what you've come to expect from this show and from the McShay Report. So if you're not subscribed, go Google the McShay Report, pull it up, put in your email if you want to subscribe for free. The premium stuff is going to start rolling out now because now it's like put on your big boy pants, All right. So that's all the nonsense at the beginning of the show. Let's just dive into it, Mensch.
Let's go. Can't wait.
The theme today for these quarterback rankings, and we're going to go through the top 10, and I'll mention some honorable mentions, some guys that are kind of still on the on the radar, if you will. Legitimate guys, not like I could give you 20 names, but legitimate guys that could maybe crack in. The theme is game experience. We've seen it, right? We've seen it in recent years with NIL, transfer portal. The landscape has changed a little bit in terms of guys being able. It's a luxury now, Steve. It's a luxury that quarterbacks back in the day did not have.
Correct.
And so, like, you wonder, it begs the question, would Mark Sanchez with 13 starts or Mitch Trubisky with 13, even Trent Richardson kind of on that cusp as things were changing.
Anthony Richardson, yeah.
And I always do that. Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
So Trey Lance, Dwayne Haskins with 17 and 14 respectively. Would that have changed? Would Trey Lance would he have transferred from North Dakota State to one of these big time programs?
Right.
And gotten paid $2 million, $3 million a year, or for his final year, and gotten another year, 12, 13, 15 games of experience.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
And I mentioned those names because they're the warning sign. They're the cautionary tale of, like, I don't care how talented you are. I also did this, Steve. I didn't tell you about this. I spent about an hour today I went through every single starting quarterback in the league. There are 32, obviously.
Okay.
I took 25 of them. I feel like there's 7 teams that are in total flux at quarterback in terms of what their future holds.
Okay.
I narrowed, but it's still a huge sample size. It's practically the entire league at quarterback. These are guys that, like, you feel like this is our guy, no question about it. This guy's not quite there yet, but he's our future. They're all guys that, like, when you think of that team, yeah, he's the starting quarterback and things are going okay. Like, we're not in an urgent situation right now to replace our starting quarterback. There's 25 of them. Okay. Listen to this, Mensch. And this drives home the point of game experience and how critical it is. It's not the only thing, but it's critical.
I got a feeling I'm going to want to write this down.
Write this down. Of the 25 guys, of the 25 And this has changed. It used to be a lot of guys come in the league with 23, 20. What was the Parcells number? Was it 25, 27 starts? The minimum. So, but my point is 30s now become kind of the number and maybe even growing. Okay. There were only 6 of the 25 that had fewer than 30 starts. 3 of them experienced the struggles that you would kind of expect in this day and age if you didn't have high number of starts. And all 3 of them, it's also important to note, had 25 or fewer starts. Those are Caleb Williams with 23, CJ Stroud with 25, and Sam Darnold with 23. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of them. I mean, Stroud had a great year and then like has regressed.
Right.
Caleb. So all 3 of those, I think we can easily say without any debate, they've had early career struggles. Those are the only 3 of 25, Steve, with 25 or fewer starts.
Wow.
There are 3 that are between 26 and 29. Okay.
And Darnold had to switch teams to kind of get his footing, by the way. He didn't find
multiple
success.
Times.
Right.
Multiple
he did not find
yes.
success early on, especially with the team that drafted the Jets.
So now we've got the 3 that are between 26 and 29 in starts.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
They're all fucking unicorns. They are.
Hit me. Yeah. No, hit me.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Drake May. Talent-wise, they're just on a different plane than just about everybody else, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
They are.
They are, yeah.
Then everyone else, 19 of the rest of those guys were between 36. So it wasn't like 31, 32, 36 and 61 starts. Pretty remarkable. So when you read the McShay report and you go through and you see what was it like, all right, I understand you put the school. I understand you put the verified height and the verified weight for the seniors. And that's National and Blessed. Okay, got us the verified heights and weights. I understand why you put the estimated heights and weights for the underclassmen that didn't get verified by scouts. But why are you putting in career starts? It's critical, Mensch, because 5 of the first names I'm about to go through on this list all can return for the 2026 season and are eligible for the 2027 draft. 5 of the 6. Yep. And all of them have a number of starts. Even if you add, we're at 6 games, just about everyone on this list has 6 starts this year. And the minimum 6 remaining if they stay healthy, maybe 7 if they play in a bowl game, maybe up to 8 if they have a conference championship in a bowl game, maybe up to 10 or 11 more games started this year if they make a run in the college football playoff, okay? So with that said, I'm going to start with this. And I'm going to make it pretty simple. I dug in deep. Yeah, and I feel really strongly about it at this point, but it's also, we're head 3rd week in October. Okay?
Snapshot right now.
Snapshot, but like feel pretty good about it.
Right.
There's been enough played where I feel pretty good about this. I'm not saying there might not be, there could be some movement within, but there's a 1 and a 1A in this year's quarterback class as of today. Both of them could go back to school next year. Both of them I would encourage to go back to school and be a part of the 2027 draft.
With you.
Because of all the reasons I just said.
Yeah.
But the 1 and the 1A, in my opinion, Dante Moore, Oregon, LaNorris Sellers, South Carolina. And I started this in the open by saying one of the hardest things as an evaluator to do is kind of let it go. Come to grips with what you saw in the summer isn't what you're seeing now. Let it go. You're not beholden to that. In fact, mistakes happen when you get stuck on your previous grade because it's based off of previous information, and the information is vast majority of which is the tape. Dante Moore. Dante Moore is the best pure passer in college football. Smooth stroke, ball just floats off his hand, good energy on the ball, knows how to layer it, knows how to lead receivers. And I think this is an important note. He throws an incredibly catchable ball, which leads to receivers going up and making plays on the ball or receivers getting yak because he's led him, and it's an easy pluck and transfer. Okay. He also does, this is something I'm picking up on more and more. He does a lot of subtle things in the pocket, whether it's with his eyes or with his, a slide or a climb that's beyond the 11 starts. And I should have mentioned Dante Moore for Oregon is estimated at 6'3", 206 pounds, and has 11 career starts as of today. Okay.
And 5 of them came, just to be clear, 5 of them came 2 years ago at a different school with a different coordinator, because I think that's important when you're talking about Oregon and what Will Stein's done with quarterbacks. Will Stein hasn't had this guy for forever.
No question. So those are some of the positives. It's undeniable that he's unshakable. I also want to say this. Watching on Saturday with Red River going on and then Indiana, Oregon, and kind of going back and forth and 2 screens. And I walked away feeling underwhelmed from Dante Moore. And I think it's fair to say he didn't have his best game, but I also think it's fair to say after watching the tape, he didn't have a lot of opportunity in that game. And when he did, I thought he actually played pretty well. That offensive line sucked for him.
It did. I was really disappointed in that offensive line.
That was probably my biggest takeaway. The other takeaway was I didn't think the Oregon receivers did a good enough job getting off of coverage. Yeah, so I'm not deflecting blame because I've got him as QB1, slightly ahead of QB1A in LaNorris Sellers. I'm just saying that's what the tape told me. And so it's important to say, yeah, that was a disappointing result, but it didn't change my opinion on Dante Moore.
I really felt like his inexperience showed at times in that game because of the way Indiana rotated coverages and mixed up coverages. And, the way that, Dante Moore is probably going to be better at adjusting protections as his career progresses. It was one of the things where I looked at and I said, this kid, he's going to be QB1, I think, or he's in the mix to be QB1, whether it's this year, but might be next year because of just those things. Those are the things he's going to get better at. But also in watching that tape, I'm watching Decorium Moore, the young receiver too, and some of the other receivers that maybe haven't played a lot in that Oregon system, and they're not reacting well to the coverages either. They're not seeing blitzes and finding gaps and voids in the coverage like they need to, and give Dante Moore more of an option. I thought play 36 in the Indiana game, Indiana brought pressure off the edge, and Dante Moore threw an absolute dart outside the numbers down the left sideline. You see the talent. I mean, you can look at that tape against Indiana and be like, I don't know. Well, just remember that 1 week earlier at a whiteout game against Penn State, that's the toughest environment you can play in, man. Say what you want about Penn State this year, that nothing had gone on at that point, and that environment was brutal. And he's the same kid that rolled to his right off play action, slipped, denied Dennis Sutton, got outside of him and hit the crosser in stride in overtime for the win. Like the onions, as you like to say, the absolute onions on this kid. Like that's the same kid. And I get the one thing I reminded myself throughout this whole process of going to these quarterbacks was let's remember not everyone's perfect at all times. And you can get into the situation of like, when you're evaluating, you're like, well, that's off and this is off and this is off. And like, you can start to get down with what does the player do? Focus on the positive. What can he bring to the table? And Dante Moore is a talented dude. He's the second best quarterback on my board, but I love him. He's awesome.
I'm assuming LaNorris Sellers is one for you.
Hell yeah.
We'll get to him in just a second. I do want to say this. I don't see anything glaring in terms of like he's inexperienced or he didn't see that. Like I think the field vision, I think the processing, I think they're all good right now.
Yeah. They're going to get better, I think, but yeah.
I think he needs some rinse, refine, repeat. You know what I mean? I think he could be a quarter count faster on certain things. I think he'll learn from a mistake and you know what I mean? Like, and he's got a tutor, if you will, in Will Stein, who's proven, give me some time to work with you, kid. Mm-hmm. And I'll get you where you need to go. So that's going to be an interesting decision to make. But I want to make this perfectly clear. Like, if LaNorris Sellers and Dante Moore dropped into the 2026 NFL draft tomorrow, they're not getting out of the top 10 picks, period.
I agree. They might not get out of the top 5, but we'll see.
So there's that as a backdrop. I want to switch over to LaNorris Sellers, who I've got as 1A. Here's the thing that I want to make perfectly clear. I kind of saw a little bit of the struggles. I watched the games, parts of them. He had the injury, he comes back. Like there was just, it kind of felt, and I know the supporting cast isn't there. I know the blocking up front has been really bad. And so it's kind of like, maybe we just put this on the back burner. I'm not sure where LaNorris is. I sat down and just dove into his tape yesterday for like probably an hour and a half.
So hold on, wait, because I just want to make clear this. Before you watched the tape, you saw the numbers, right?
I actually didn't look at any players' numbers.
Did you consider taking him off your board because like maybe he needs?
They're a bit like when he had the injury very early in the year. When I was watching, kind of like it's a one-man show and all that. I'm like,
yeah.
And honestly, if I'm being totally honest, like in the back of my head, I started thinking like maybe this is a situation like I can't love the coaching staff more. You know.
I know.
I am. You know where I am with Shane. Like, but
this is weird. This is getting weird. Yeah.
Maybe this is a transfer situation. Maybe he goes. I don't know. And I'm not.
I don't want him to.
But no. But this is based off of like just watching games and having watched his tape last year and how raw he was, especially early in the season. I saw the progression, but I came away from watching this tape this year, even as like recently as the LSU game this past Saturday. I'm like, oh, he's improved. It's not just he's running around. I'm watching a guy who has drilled home the things that I was asking him this summer, saying, I need you to work on these things. I need you to find a better base. I need you to play with more balance. I need you to stay inside the pocket, go through your progressions more. I need you to kind of cut down on some of the crazy and understand where the blitz is coming from. Remember, he had those like the first 3 games he played, defenses were coming at him front side, and it was like sack, fumble, and I'm not seeing that much anymore. I'm seeing a significant improvement. I'm seeing more poise in the pocket. I'm seeing a guy who's like clearly, like, you can't see my feet here, but like clearly keeping his feet under him. And the result is they're not easy throws. Some of the throws that you'd like to see a lot of consistency with, he's now to a level where it's like, oh, and I'm talking like 15-yard outs or like in break in 12, like throws that like they're not layups. I don't want to say, but they're like mid-range jumpers.
You need to consistently make that throw at the NFL level to be successful.
And he's starting to do that. I'm seeing a lot of progression in his game.
I love it.
Now the result and the scoreboard's hasn't been perfect, and he's having to overcome some stuff, and so he has to do some of the things he's doing. But that's also what we've asked of him. Keep it in your bag. Be ready to pull it out of your back pocket, but don't make that your thing. I'm going to go on the record and say this. You ready? I see a similar, whether it's, I'd like to see another year from him. He's got 18 starts right now, which means if they play out the rest of the season, we're looking at 24, 25 starts, right?
Right. One more year, man.
One more year gives you 37. And now you're in the range of all these 19 guys that I looked up that are having success. We're in that 36 to 61 start range, right?
Yeah.
But I also, regardless of when he enters the league, I see a similar arc for him as Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, where early in his career, the mobility, he's not going to have all the answers to the test. The mobility is going to allow him to kind of buy him time and get out of some problems and move the offense. It's going to be a little bit crazy and scattered and all that. And it was with Lamar, and it was with Josh, and it was with Jalen. But that time that his mobility and I want to make it he is a uniquely gifted talent at the quarterback position. He makes plays and throws on tape that very few other guys can make, and nobody else in this class can execute. That's why he's 1A in this group, even though but I also want to say this. I'm starting to think, even at the end of the season, that I may look at it and say, you know what? I think he's more advanced as a passer than Lamar Jackson. I think he's more advanced as a passer than Jalen Hurts when both of them were entering the NFL draft coming out of college. And that's saying something.
I agree.
People forget how much advancement, how much growth those two quarterbacks have had in the NFL. And even Josh, but even Josh. So that's kind of how I'm starting to see that. I'm seeing it very differently than I did this summer. This summer, and this summer, I kind of scoffed at people who were making and one of our good friends who's in the NFL as a scout said, I see kind of Jalen Milroe. And I kind of scoffed. I'm like, no, like I see maybe like the thick frame and he's a runner, but like I know he's more advanced as a passer, all that stuff. I now like, if someone were to say that to me now,
you'd be mad.
I'd be mad, and my immediate response is go do your job,
right?
Because you're not doing your job, because you haven't watched the tape and you haven't seen the advancement from what he was a year ago.
So this is strange, and because going into it, there was a lot of the same feelings, and it's pretty clear how much I've liked LaNorris Sellers from the jump. I mean, he's been my quarterback one from day one.
Yep.
Not that really matters, but going into this, I saw the numbers. He was 15 for 27 for 124 yards and a pick, and the pick he threw against LSU, you can't make that throw. It was a bad decision, right? But when I saw the numbers, it was like, all right, take a deep breath. Maybe it's time. Maybe like Sellers, maybe he needs to go down the board a little bit. Maybe he's going to have to go back for a year. And then I watch this game and I start counting drops and I started counting throwaways because of pressure. 3 drops, 5 throwaways. I mean, it's unbelievable what he had to do. And then you see the throws that he's making. And again, we got to keep it moving. I'm not going to get into this too much, but Todd is 100% right about this kid's improvement on touch throws, timing throws, all of that stuff. You're seeing it. And to me, when you're adding the development as a passer, and I do believe that he's farther along than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen were at that point in their careers. And both of those guys, by the way, Allen played at Wyoming and Jackson played at Louisville. Like, this kid's playing SEC defenses every week. I want to say that too. I think he's farther along than those two were at the time. Now, credit to them. They've turned themselves into, great passers at the NFL level. But when we're talking about Sellers, I think he's farther along in the process. So he's just a player that I'm super excited about and will continue to be super excited about. It's not about the stats, man. If you watch that tape, you come away impressed.
Number 3 on my list, and this may surprise people because it's not what the mainstream is saying right now, and I may be wrong, and I certainly hope he goes back to school and has the opportunity to do so. Number 3 on my list is Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback, estimated 6'2", 208, just 6 starts. Let me tell you what I've seen from Ty. I said this before, what I expected to see from Garrett Nussmeier in his second year as a starter, with the pedigree that he has with his dad as an offensive coordinator and a former quarterback coach in the NFL, and also an NFL quarterback. Nussmeier, the mental portion, he's still doing all these things. But like the pre-snap awareness, the understanding of what defenses are trying to do to him, the anticipation, the instincts, like, it's what I expected to see of Nussmeier. We'll get to Garrett in a little bit, okay? And sometimes I have to remind myself watching his tape, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You can't.
How inexperienced he is to be doing what he's doing right now, right?
You can't be playing at this high of a mental level and with this kind of like instincts, only game experience. Iron sharpens iron. So how did he get here? It's pretty awesome to watch, right? He's got this beautiful blend of footwork, urgency, and instincts to his game. And he's doing stuff with like touch and anticipation and layering that I'm not seeing from any other quarterback out there. Like when you blend all those things.
Yeah, he's the guy right now.
Okay. The other thing I love about him, he takes the fight to you defensively. Do you know what I mean? Like there's something like every time they snap the ball, because he's is prepared and because he knows what they're trying to do and because he has the answer, there's no doubt, hesitation. Like it's like this urgency and it's like, and I walked you through the other day. We talked about like the first drive against Georgia, how impressive that was, and the elements of it, taking off and running. Now you got to deal with me. I'm planting that seed with, and then the throw, and then the deep throw to his star wide receiver Ryan Williams, drop, comes right back, hits it to the left side. Like he's just, there's a confidence in him that, like, where's it coming from? And everyone says, well, he's got the best wide receivers in the country. Nah. No,
it's more than that. I
love
his receivers.
I love his receivers, but Ryan Williams has been dropping the ball and he's been in and out of the lineup.
True.
Jeremy Bernard's awesome as a slot. Isaiah Horton's an awesome possession perimeter guy.
I love Horton. Yep.
But he doesn't have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate.
True.
And they're not playing. So anyway, I recognize, here's the important part. And if you get into and I break it down in great detail in the McShay report. So go and, like, you can get all of this and see everything that I wrote down and get, like, this can be your guide as the rest of the season goes, and kind of make your own notes on, like, this improvement, taking steps back. But for each quarterback, I did a top qualities, and then followed up with, like, still want to see, like, what is it the scouts want to see from him? You got a second half of the season for still want to see. Like, honestly, it's just finish the way you're starting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to note, while this wasn't on, like, weaknesses, like, listen, his arm isn't going to get stronger this year. It's not going to get taller. He's not going to get bigger. He's not going to get faster. All those things are, like, adequate to maybe above average, depending on each trait. But when you play the game at this level, you can overcome that stuff. And I look at a guy like Baker Mayfield. I look at, there's a lot of guys in the league now that aren't 6'4", 220, so I get it. Like, Fernando Mendoza is number 4 on my list, and Fernando's 6'5", 225 pounds. And I hear all the hype and I hear all the stuff, and I think he's actually playing better than he did a year ago. And here's the part that I want people to remember. And sometimes it pisses me off. And sometimes I remind myself not to get caught up in the mud and the fray, right? But sometimes
you're rolling now.
Sometimes I'm just a Boston boy, and I kind of get, and I'm Irish, and I got, like, hot blood, and
this feels like a therapy session right now. You got some stuff to get off your chest. Like, I'm just letting you go because it just feels like you got to get. Well,
the Nussmeier stuff pissed me off a year ago because it's a QB1, and now I had him QB1 last week. I had him QB1 in week 1. I had him QB1 in the summer, and he wasn't even starting. I just knew, and it was like, shut up. Well, with Mendoza, I think it was Thamel. Thamel came out and said to.
By the way, can I just say really quickly? Are you going to Mendoza now? Can I just say something about Simpson really quickly?
Sorry. Yes.
Quarterback 4 on my board as well. Also, same grade as Dante Moore. Same grade as Dante Moore as Ty Simpson.
Simpson.
Yep. Love him.
Okay.
Guy, and, classic baby face killer, man. You look at him and you're like, not big enough, not fast
I did
enough.
at the Manning camp.
And he's just not that guy. And then I
came back and be like, and I remember
rip your Adam's apple out like a Roadhouse. Like I'm
watching
that's
all these other guys who are either body beautiful or running like gazelles or throwing the ball 80 yards, like all these other guys at Manning Passing Academy. And I remember making the comment to you and to Tucker and to Conor and to Dan offline, like it doesn't matter, but it's kind of like one of my takeaways was like, those are really Georgia and Alabama starting quarterbacks. Like they just don't look, so I'm blown away by it and I love it. But back to Mendoza.
Yep.
Like it was Pete Thamel who did the whole thing and sent us a nice note about, like, I've talked to some other scouts and they're in agreement with you. Like, this guy's someone to watch. And I said he's someone who could work his way into the first round. So I like Fernando Mendoza. In fact, I kind of feel like I found Fernando Mendoza. There, I said.
I brought Mendoza to you.
I brought Mendoza to you.
Not true. Go check the tape. Check the tape.
Fine. But not to you. I mean to the country.
To the people. Yeah,
to the country. And so, and I had a higher grade on him than most people. Most people are like, hey, and Thamel reaches out, like, yeah, some other scouts are talking about that. And he talks about it on his podcast, the College Game Day podcast. And it's like, this is real. Like he's a day 2 guy, but there's some elevation here, and here are the things he has to improve upon. So when people now are like, well, I got him number 1 overall, and maybe he will be.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe Dante Moore goes back to school. Maybe LaNorris Sellers goes back to school. Maybe Ty Simpson with his 6 starts to date, heading into the 3rd week in October, going against Tennessee. 3rd weekend in October, I should say. Maybe he goes back to school. And so maybe he is the first quarterback off the board. And honestly, according to these rankings, he's the number 1 guy. He would be the number 1 guy if those 3 guys go back to school. But he's also an underclassman. And honest to God, I think he needs another year. And for all different reasons, all 4 of these quarterbacks.
How many starts does he have? Do you have that down there?
He has 25 starts, the most starts of these guys. So Dante Moore has 11.
That number. Yep.
LaNorris Sellers has 18. Ty Simpson has 6. Fernando Mendoza has 25, which is more than some of the seniors I'm about to get into. Okay. So it's not about game experience. It's about, I'm seeing him progress, and I like what I'm seeing. Okay. He's got the prototypical frame, as I talked about, 6'5", 225, combination of juice in his arm, and like Daniel Jones-like mobility, as we've already talked about. I don't want to beat a dead horse. And I said this the other day, and I truly believe this. One of the most attractive parts to him as a prospect is he has this combination of traits that actually forces you. With his RPO ability, his mobility, his ability to see the field as a taller quarterback, and the ability to drive the ball and throw it at all 3 levels. He probably right now is the most capable. He presents, if developed correctly in the NFL, the opportunity to have a quarterback that challenges you defensively more than most because of those traits. Now, is he there yet? No, but he's getting closer. Mm-hmm. And I like that they're still utilizing the RPO, but I also like that this last game against Oregon, there's a lot of perimeter throws. He excels on outbreaking sideline stuff.
Touch and timing, man.
Touch timing. He's got the energy to get it there, but they're not all fastballs. Get the ball out on time. Receivers break, kind of let it come in. The back shoulder fades. He's excellent on all those things. And he's got receivers who are really like pro ready in terms of routes, sideline awareness, body control, catching the ball, the pluck. So I see all those things, but I'm not ready to be like, we're there yet. And so that's why I have him 4th on the list. He's cut down on the Mendoza moments.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still one against Oregon.
One against Iowa. Yep.
One against Iowa. So that's part of it. But there's also, I want to see more like precision and consistency on like intermediate, middle of the field stuff. I don't think that's quite there yet. So there's been growth, and there's more growth potential. Okay.
2 things that I want to point out is that he's played really well in their biggest games. He played really well against Illinois. He was outstanding, and he played well enough for them to beat Oregon on the road. He played well in that game. Also has 2 game-winning touchdowns, Iowa and now Oregon. That's something that I think really helps him out. I will also say this right now. I love you to death. If you continue to go on like this is going to be a 4-hour pod, and I want to remind you that people can go to the McShay Report, and they should go to the McShay Report if they want to get all of the good stuff, okay? Don't give away everything for free, McShay. That's what you're doing right now. You got to keep it going a little bit, just a little bit. And I want to say like maybe a couple things every quarterback. I know how much work you put into it. We all do. But maybe it's, give me 10 seconds on every guy.
I feel like someone's whispering in your ear. It's date night in the McShay house. And I get the feeling that you're helping.
This is supposed to be the quick pod every week. And
you're helping Marissa right now.
I don't know how
to get me out of here. The McShay Show is brought to you by FanDuel. This college football season is delivering weekly showdowns you don't want to miss. And right now, all customers on FanDuel can score a 50% profit boost for this week's big match on campus between Tennessee and Alabama. And the best part, you get paid instantly when you win. Use your boost on bets like spreads, over-unders, team props, and so much more. Don't wait. Visit FanDuel.com/McShay to download the app and boost your next bet. Must be 21 and older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. This episode is brought to you by Duluth Trading Company. Ready to give rival tailgates the foam finger? Duluth Trading Company crafts Hall of Fame game day gear to help you grill hotter, cheer louder, and tailgate longer. Trust me, I'm a scene at the grill. I know what this is all about. They've got bibs loaded with pockets, gusseted pants so you can crouch without snuffing out your coals, and free swinging shirts tailor-made for beanbag tossing, or some like to call it cornhole. Stay comfortable from preseason to playoffs in the toughest tailgate attire around, only at Duluth Trading Company. All right, number 5 on the list. So number 1 is Dante Moore. Number 2 is LaNorris Sellers, and it really 1 and 1A. Number 3 is Ty Simpson. Number 4 is Fernando Mendoza. And I also want to state, I envision all 4 of those quarterbacks, if they continue to play like this, continue to kind of show progression, that all 4 quarterbacks, whether it's 2026 or 2027, very likely to hear their name called in round 1.
I got Mendoza 4 too. And I think you're right. I think you're right about where they're going to go.
All right, Garrett Nussmeier is number 5. He's the hardest one, and I'm going to go into detail on this one, and then I'll kind of list the other guys, and you can kind of throw some stuff out, and we can go back and forth, and then you'll have to read the McShay report to get the rest of it. I'm caving to Muench. Garrett Nussmeier. these are verified numbers now. These are from National Blesto list. They scouts.
I was wondering I don't have this number. I wanted to hear what this was.
6005 for his height, so he's just under 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
I saw that Muench prep school face. 204 pounds. So undeniably undersized, but not insurmountable.
No, I agree.
20 starts as of today. So he'll have about 27, 28 starts, it would seem. Which is still sub 30, 36 starts, like we talked about, 19 starters in the NFL. But he doesn't have a choice to come back, and he waited it out. It'll be circumstance
wisely,
and his patience. Yep. And with a lot of these other guys, they didn't grow up with a dad who played in the NFL and coaches the quarterback positions and offensive coordinator. So I'm less concerned with him. But that's where he is. I think he's the best pre-snap processor in college football. I love the way he anticipates throws. I think he's deadly accurate at times when he's in rhythm. I think he excels placing the ball in a place that receivers can go make a play on it. And I think he's especially good when DBs have their back to him. He's got this innate feel for
Joe Burrow was outstanding at that.
Joe Burrow is the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's outstanding at that.
He's got a lot of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a spitting image to me of Baker Mayfield. I said it in the summer and I continue to say it. He's a spitting image of Baker Mayfield. I'm talking the suddenness, the quick trigger, the urgency, the aggressiveness, I dare you to stop me. The problem with Nuss is he doesn't have the arm that Baker has. Baker has a big time arm for a smaller quarterback, for any quarterback, but for a smaller quarterback. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so some of the throws that Baker's gunslinging, Texas high school football, good luck getting it, he can actually execute. Nussmeier can't always. Okay.
Right.
Here's the most important takeaway. Here's the news. There's been a lot of different reports and speculation with Nussmeier. It's call it an oblique, call it a stomach muscle injury. Can't get anyone on the record to definitively tell us when that occurred, how long he's been dealing with it. But the tape tells me what's going on. Let's just say this. If you like I went and watched the coach copy tape, the Ole Miss game was frightening. And you know it's an injury, so it's like it's frightening, but it's like it's not. He didn't forget how to throw a ball. He didn't forget how to rip it. He didn't all of a sudden he didn't like lose his ability to get velocity on the ball. It just wasn't there. And so now I'm watching. I'm doing close-ups. I'm like pulling the screen out at the end of throws, slow-mo, pausing it. Like, is he wincing? Is he grabbing anything? And he's not, that I saw.
Right.
Okay?
I didn't see that either. I was
that
looking
Ole
too.
Miss that Ole Miss tape was kind of like the pin, like we saw signs of it. That Ole Miss tape, balls were hanging in the air. No juice on out throws. Like, it was scary. But then he had a bye week, and then South Carolina, I'm here to tell you, it's not 100%, but you could see the swagger, you could see the taking off and running, you could see the that time off helped it heal. And I saw him ripping the ball more, and there's more juice and energy at the end of throws. So my hope is, because I'm pulling for all of these guys, that was a beginning of what we're going to start to see is a steady progression back to the level he was in terms of driving the ball, which was never elite, but it's good enough to be in the NFL if he does all the other things he's capable of doing. Now, the mistakes, he kind of cut down on them early in the year. And the last couple games, you've started to see some more interceptions. Like that goal line one against South Carolina. Just can't have that. Can't have that.
He was feeling himself again, though. He did against Texas A&M.
You were right. He had the long run right before.
He was like, "Oh, here we go," and then
Yep.
he just like trusted the pre-snap read too much. Never saw the safety and threw it right into the safety's hands.
So
or
all
linebacker,
that's still
middle
there.
of field defender.
If I'm holding on to one that I can't fully let go, it's Nussmeier. But I had him at QB1, and now I've got him down at QB5. So I'm a realist, and I'm being honest. I still see something special in this cat. And so I want to see if he continues to get healthy. I want to see how the season plays out. And you start to look at they got opportunity, all these guys got opportunities, some more than other. Vandy this week is going to be a bitch of a game, by the way. We'll get to that in just a second. A&M then. And then
November in the game.
And then November you got Alabama and Oklahoma. So he better be right, or else things are going to come off the rails real fast in Baton Rouge. But he's the one that I'm kind of hanging on to. I saw a glimpse of him this past weekend, and I'm just hoping for his sake that it keeps going in that direction.
I almost feel bad saying this, okay? I get the Baker Mayfield comp. I really do. And because there are a lot of things that are there. And I like Nussmeier, and I like the way he plays the game. If he's Baker Mayfield, he's Kmart Baker Mayfield. Not only is the arm strength not there, he's not the same kind of runner as Baker Mayfield. He's not built like Baker
he's
Mayfield.
Faster than Baker.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Baker's not fast.
See.
They're
Baker
both
Mayfield's
quick.
That's a better runner.
That's the biggest similarity.
Baker Mayfield's a better runner. I'll tell you that.
Baker Mayfield is a slow-ass runner. They're both effective runners.
I just saw him scrambling for first down against San Francisco. I'm telling you right now, man.
With the piano on his back.
I'm not falling into your trap. I'm not falling into your trap, okay? He's not as strong. Like, the build is not as strong as Baker, okay? He doesn't have the same arm strength. And there is only one Baker Mayfield. And I am telling this right now in terms of swagger. There is one. Nuss has got some to him. Don't get me wrong. But Baker Mayfield's got more swagger than any other quarterback on the planet. And I'm just telling you, Nussmeier's a little bit, he's, again, Kmart Baker Mayfield, if we're going to go there. Also, too careless with the football.
Kmart.
9 to 5.
Are there even Kmarts anymore?
I don't know. Do people even know what that is? Walmart? Should
Probably
I say Walmart?
Not. Sure.
Yeah, I think Kmart's a New England thing. Whatever. Kmart is like Walmart, if people don't know, okay?
Yeah.
But also, Nuss, 9 to 5 touchdown interception ratio this year. Last year, he had 4 games with 2 or more interceptions. My man is careless with the football. And he's smart, and he can make some plays, and I get it. But he starts to do that thing where he's like, oh, look at me go. And now we're slinging it, and everything's working, and all of a sudden it's not. He gets ahead of himself a little bit. Garrett Nussmeier, number 8 quarterback in this draft.
All right. Well, while you're feeling yourself, Mr. Mensch,
that's why my FanDuel pick of the week.
Why don't you share?
It's the under in the Vanderbilt LSU game, which I believe is 48.5. I really look. Vanderbilt's put up some points, but they weren't great. That offense wasn't great against Alabama once Diego Pavia fumbled that ball. Looked good early, but slowed down late. Didn't score in the second half. I like that LSU defense still. I'm concerned about Nussmeier in the passing attack, but I'm even more concerned about that LSU running game. Vanderbilt's defense is damn good. I don't know if people realize that. 48.5 seems like a pretty tough number for those two offenses to get to. I think that's going to be a low-scoring game.
At FD Sportsbook, get involved, man. Like I love that app. I'm on it all the time for a bunch of different reasons.
I feel good about this one.
But like, you're gonna have to show me something with your picks because they've been trashed this year. Now that we're kind of going at each
By the way,
other.
I love that I'm like cover for you because I've been worse than you. You haven't been great. You haven't been.
I'm 4-2 in the last 2 weeks with a 4-leg parlay hit.
Very
Get
small
out of here!
samples.
I haven't been good.
Very small sample size.
I'm Mr. October at FanDuel.
Go.
They walk down the hallways of FanDuel and they're like, "What's up with Mr. October? We good? Let's get him that ad read." I'm Mr. October. I'm just heating up. 4-2 the last 2 weeks. 4-leg parlay hit. So get on board. I'll release my 4-leg parlay this week. I was releasing them too early in the season. We were doing it on Wednesday. It made no sense. I got to get more information. I got to get my brain off of all this stuff, and I got to get my brain on let's make money. And I do that on Thursday and Friday. I take a deep
Sounds
breath.
like an excuse to me.
Not an excuse. It's results. This week, my early play of the week, and people are going to be shocked by this because I've been ripping James.
Oh, that smile. Here we go.
I've been ripping the athletic director and the
I was
the
tempted by
leadership
this one too, by the way. This one was a tempting one.
I've been ripping this whole program. I like Penn State plus 2.5 at Iowa.
Yeah,
I think it's a wake up call. I think it's a bunker mentality.
Circle the wagons.
But player leadership.
Right.
This Ethan Grunkmeyer, kind of the era begins, dual threat guy, a little bit more juice. He's looked kind of good and kind of poised, and from the very limited sample we've seen this year. I think, and I know Iowa found an offense apparently and all that stuff, but I think Penn State's going to come out and play some big boy football this weekend. So at McShay 13 later in the week, I'll get you my 4-leg play and probably 2 or 3 other winners, like whatever I can pull out for you. All right, let's move on. Mensch is right. I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to give all of it away. I'll give you my rankings. I'll give you the list right now, and I want to give a little bit on the next guy. You got to go read it. I get so excited because I poured my life the last 70 hours into it. So
it's
go read it.
Man, though.
And no one wants
October.
to listen to it. And yes, you're right. 6 is John Mateer. 17 starts. Which I was surprised. I thought that number was going to be higher. 17
I did
starts.
too.
Carson Beck, Miami, 32 starts. He's number 7 on the list. Number 8 quarterback and hanging on. Cade Klubnik, Clemson, 34 starts. Sometimes it is what it is. Number 9, my guy, Sawyer Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
Still like what he's doing. Big game this week. TCU, both 4-2 teams, kind of just hanging around the chicken coop, right?
Yep.
Texas Tech, go ahead, slip up. We only got 1 loss in conference. And then Drew Aller, I've dropped to 10. And I think I've 35 starts. In his season, unfortunately, season-ending injury, his tape evaluation is complete. It is. Honorable mention, guys, just to keep an eye on. And there's the list right there. So you got Dante Moore and LaNorris Sellers are 1 and 1A. Ty Simpson, Fernando, Mendoza are kind of that next group. Garrett Nussmeier right now. Let's see how this thing finishes. John Mateer is the one I wanted to talk about. Very briefly, and I'll throw to you. We know the qualities. I've been talking about this guy for basically since August. Like quick trigger, aggressive, up-tempo, gunslinger, has the Mateer moments. Got to cut down on those things, all of that. I'm just fascinated by, is this decision to rush it and come back for Texas? Like that loss felt like more than just a loss. It felt like it felt like it exposed some stuff that, like the lack of a running game, the offensive line problems. Like it felt like it exposed some stuff at Oklahoma. And I think with Mateer, it made everyone kind of question the reality. Is he going to be the same guy? He's back and he's playing and he's grinding. And my God, I love this guy. Like just love everything he's about. Love his competitiveness. I've given you specific plays from Washington State and this year. I believe in John Mateer at 100%. I just don't know if he's going to be at 100%. And then what does that evaluation look like? And I also want to mention, like, he does have another year to come back to Oklahoma if it doesn't go well. But he also plays with this aggressive style at his frame, and he's got fullback legs and all that stuff. But, like, if he doesn't learn to protect himself and see kind of the bigger picture on some plays in terms of the situation, and also, like, his career, I start to worry. And so how does this look? I don't know. There's no crystal ball here. I want desperately for John Mateer his thumb to get right and the accuracy to come back where it wasn't quite there last week. But I'm also looking at this schedule, and it's hard not to be like, I'm worried. You want to hear this, Mensch?
Yeah.
We talked about the schedule for
crazy.
a long time.
It's nuts.
No, it's not
Go
crazy.
ahead.
It's fucking brutal.
Go for it.
He's got a 6-pack of either opportunity or like things like that wagon that they roll out pre-game is going to, I've seen that wagon in person flip over before. And
this season could take a real turn for the Sooners. It could take a real turn.
South Carolina, which is going to be a tough, like
South Carolina, right?
At South Carolina, that place gets worked up. Sellers, like, they have similar problems, both programs. Oklahoma is a better football team, top to bottom. No question about it. But Sellers is healthy. Mateer, what is he? I just want to say this. South Carolina on the road, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU. No team in the country has a harder 6-pack of games in the regular season left than Oklahoma with John Mateer. And so all you can do is hope that his thumb continues to heal. It's not an issue. And last week was just a byproduct of him not doing good versus good, being in practice, some rust, and just like the emotions and everything that went into the legend that is Mateer. And he played great for a stretch early in the game, and then it just unraveled. So he's the most fast, because honest to God, he was on a trajectory where it's like, be damned what scouts say and general managers. I'm going to put this guy with a round 1 grade because I believe in him and see things in him that, like, I'm willing to die alone on that mountaintop.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting final 2 months of the season.
Right now, the way it stands right now, I'm throwing out the Texas tape. I'm putting 0 stock in it. I don't care about it right now. We'll see if he starts.
I didn't
see if he
in my
starts
report,
stacking games.
I didn't mention a word.
Came back. Yeah, he comes back and he presses, and he didn't practice the week before, which I think is a huge deal when you're going against a Texas defense with, it was a big deal for him. That was not John Mateer at his best. And you're right. Like, how healthy is he? We're going to see going down. Like, but right now, I'm not worried about the Texas tape. It wasn't
I'm not
good,
worried about the Texas tape either. I'm total agreement with you, Steve.
Okay.
But like all of these guys, like I'm all of them, like there could be some fluctuation, slight here and there. Maybe if you're 1A, you go to 1. Maybe if you're 3, you go to 2. Maybe if a couple guys leave, Fernando Mendoza goes first quarterback taken, whatever it is. But I'm telling you right now, Ty Simpson keeps playing the way he's playing. He's going to be a first-round pick. I'm telling you right now, it's trending towards Mendoza as a first-round pick and might go pretty early if the right team falls in love with them. I'm telling you right now, those 2 cats I started off the show with, Dante Moore and LaNorris Sellers, they're top 10, and as you said, maybe top 5 whenever they come out. I know that. Nussmeier, there's some question of, like, is he going to get back? But I also have all of last year's tape to know what the velocity and all that stuff is. So while I won't get to see the progression, and if he has the injury gets, re-injured and he takes another step back, at least I know what he is. And I got to make a decision off of that and assume that gets healthy and he goes in the NFL and he's probably going to be drafted in the 2nd round and he'll be viewed as a backup that could become a starter. I kind of know all of that. I know what Beck is now. And I'm glad I've gotten to see at Miami that he's back to the Beck that people thought, like, yeah, he could be a high draft pick. I know what Allen is. Or Aller is, Drew Aller. I know all of these guys. The one that, of all 10, that
the wild card.
The wild card of this entire quarterback class right now is John Mateer.
Agree.
Because depending on how that brutal 6-game stretch depending on how those 6 games go, and that second half of the season and that brutal stretch run, that could make him a first round pick or kind of a second rounder. Do you stay? Do you go?
Yeah,
truly. So that's fascinating.
I hear you. He's moved down my board too because other players have moved up. That's just the reality of it. And I think that's what you're getting at is other players are now elevated ahead of him. You know what I mean? Like Ty Simpson's a great example.
I just hope we don't look back at last Saturday in the Red River rivalry and his competitiveness and his eager to win and to be there for his guys and all the things you love about John Mateer. I hope we don't in December, January, March, April, look back and say, boy, I wish he didn't play in that game.
Yeah. Can I bring up one other name? One other name?
Yeah.
Cade Klubnik. Tough start to the year. I think he's had too much of this offense. He's not played well. I mean, look, this was a guy I thought could be the first quarterback, and he's not in that conversation anymore. He's just not there. But I look at the arm strength. I look at the release. I look at the way he moves. He's starting to get right. Granted, it's North Carolina, but he was outstanding against North Carolina. Against his weaker competition, he's starting to play a little bit better.
He was good against BC.
And it's good to see. Yeah. But the last 2 weeks, he's been great.
But he had clean pockets.
Look at this. Tell me like this, and these guys haven't worked out, but don't get me wrong. And maybe they will. But Tyler Shuck, 40th overall last year. Will Levis, 33rd overall in 2023. Drew Lock, 42nd overall in 2019. I look at those type of players, and I think someone's going to see Klubnik early second round and be like, this is, he played a lot of games at that level. He's got the talent. I think someone's going to take a chance on him in that early second round as it stands now.
I don't. Shuck is 6'4", 220 pounds, could ran a 4.5 something at and has a big time.
They're all bigger. I get it.
And Klubnik has mobility. Klubnik's arm I overrated. The more I watch, I think it's good. I think it's solid.
Oh, I like it.
I think the anticipation of some of his throws, I don't see the same energy at the end of his throws as I see with a lot of these other guys.
Okay. I like it.
I think he could get stronger in his lower body, which will help him break some tackles, but much more importantly, generate some torque from the hip. And
do you have what's his verified size? Do you have that?
6'0", 204 pounds.
He's smaller than I thought. Yep. I think someone's going to take a shot on
Club, and I wasn't going to get it. The biggest thing with Club is I want to see less caffeine in his pocket presence.
Mm-hmm. He gets out a little too quick.
Like all of it. I want to see a little bit more calm, a little bit. We started the show with, I'm talking about someone who just can't. There's just not enough calm to his game, and when I say that, I mean like the sniff of a pass rusher. It's not that he takes off too early. It's like he gets frenetic. He gets antsy.
No, I see it.
And then the footwork breaks down or the decisions start to get rushed.
Yep.
So that's like where I think he can improve, but we're now in 34 starts. And so he's going to be at like 41 starts when he's done. So I love Klubnik and I love Nussmeier, and I really enjoyed like being around them, seeing how they operate, like their love for the game and all of it. Like I'm pulling for all these guys, but I started the year like really hoping and believing that those two guys could take that next step, and they haven't, and that's cool.
They just haven't.
But at this point, I find it hard to believe that he's going to be a top 40, top 50 pick, if I'm being totally honest.
I think a lot of it, I should be clear too, about a lot of this depends on who comes out. I mean, if everyone comes out, it's going to be hard for him to get in that range. If everyone comes out, I mean, I have him at quarterback 8, I think, or 7. So it's going to be hard for him.
One final thing before you talk about a lot of organizations right now whose like literal fate, potentially the next like decade of their organization rests on like who's leaving, who's
in, who's out. Yeah.
Because if this draft has Sellers and Dante Moore and Ty Simpson, maybe they're not ready and all of that, but you've got 2 organizations already with 2 first-round picks in the Rams and the Browns who need their future quarterback for very different situations. And there are other teams that are going to be drafted at the top that need so like as a GM, you just sit back handcuffed like it, because This year's class could be like really good, the 2026 class, or it could be another like last year, truly.
Yeah. No,
and
you're right.
If this year's like last year, it means 2027 has got Dante Moore, LaNorris Sellers, Ty Simpson, Arch Manning, in no order, obviously. Even if DJ Lagway has an emergence, like Julian Sayin.
Not to mention the receivers, too.
Fernando Mendoza, John Mateer, like all those cats could be. And don't forget this point I started the whole show off with. These guys have a different luxury than the past quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. NIL money. They're not going to take that big a pay cut to come back for another year. And if they have people around them in their camp telling them, hey, that idiot McShay just did a study. It's 36 to 61 starts. Those guys are the ones that are leading the league, unless you're a unicorn. Right? All right.
Yeah.
This is a fun show. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Please go to the McShay Report. You can
Pretty
find
sure we kept it under 2 hours. I'm proud of you.
It wasn't that bad. It was like 1 hour.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
You guys are assholes, man. You, Dan. Tucker's not as bad, but he'll get a little, in here and there.
Always take the over. Always take the over. I'm making so much money on the over. Hey, yeah, sorry, my internet crapped out at this Airbnb. So
well, the beauty is you don't even know you're still part of the show because we haven't finished yet.
Yeah, we're still going.
Shit.
5 stars.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.